بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Lesson 2 on Usul al-Fiqh. We mentioned that we have primary principle and secondary principle. When it comes to the practical stand is the second step taken by a jurist after the first step. The first step is what? First step, when he can find evidence to support his argument in the Kitab and Sunnah. When these evidences are missing there, then he goes to the second step of finding a solution, extracting the law, the fatwa. And that is usul al-amaliyya, practical stance. In the practical stance, we studied several principles. One of them, we call it a primary principle. Do you remember the primary principle? The principle of, what was the primary principle? Caution. Asalatul ihtiyat. Caution. This is the primary. What was the secondary? Do you remember? Bara'a. Which is what? How do we translate that? Exemption. Bara'a is when you are released from responsibility, discharged. You are not liable, you are not accountable, you are not responsible. So some people call it exemption, see on the board. Some people call it exoneration. You can call it exoneration too. You can call it dispensation, bara'a, or to be released or discharged from duty. So you are not responsible. So this is the secondary, which is exemption. Okay? Now, when do we use caution and when do we use exemption? If we have a doubt, but this doubt is, where is this doubt? This doubt is initial doubt. Initial doubt. You come across a situation where you have no previous knowledge about it. Okay? You have no previous knowledge about it. That is called initial doubt. In the initial doubt, what do you use? Do you use ihtiyat or exemption? Give me an example of an initial doubt situation.
Walking into a restaurant, whether if it's najis or tahir.
Yeah, you come. There is a table. You have not seen anything on this table. Nobody told you. How do you treat this table? How do you treat this bed? How do you treat this carpet, this seat? How do you treat it? You treat it as clean. And you can drink it. You can, if it is water, this is, I come across this bottle here. And it is sealed. Okay, I buy it from the supermarket. How do I treat this? I treat it as what? As a clean. Because if I go and have doubt and the doubt tells me, oh, use caution, then I would never be able to purchase any bottle. Assalamu alaikum. I would never be able to purchase any bottle. Because anywhere I go, there would be a possibility that the water is not clean. So I use what? Bara'a. I am released from this discharge. The lawgiver tells me, go ahead. Drink, purchase, okay? However, if I come across a situation, but I have somebody told me something. Somebody said, listen, in this restaurant, they do such and such. This is called what? In this restaurant, there are 10 bottles, 9 of them are pure, one of them is impure. And I go and see the bottles. So is this initial doubt? This is not initial doubt. Because somebody has told me, somebody that I trust, he told me, listen, if you're going to go into this restaurant, you're going to come across 10 bottles, 9 of them are clean, the 10th is not, but I don't know which one is which. In this case, what do we call this knowledge? Al-ilmul ijmali.
Detailed.
Huh? Not detailed. Detailed ilm al-tafsili. Ilm al-ijmali is what? Summary knowledge. Summary knowledge. So in the summary knowledge, okay, now, there were 9 bottles. Someone told me that I know this bottle is the one that is najis. So he broke the summary knowledge into 2 sections. One section is detailed knowledge. So I know this is najis, stay away from it. But the other 9 is what?
Doubt.
What sort of doubt? It's broken into what sort of doubt?
Caution.
No.
No, what sort? Tell me the type of doubt. Initial doubt.
That's initial.
Yeah, it's a broken summary knowledge. When we break it into 2 parts. Because someone says, this is the najis. So this is detailed. Part of it detailed. The other part is what? Initial knowledge. We treat it as initial knowledge. And with the initial knowledge, which principle applies to it? This one or that one?
Caution.
Initial knowledge.
Actually, it's initial doubt, so it should be exemption.
Exemption.
How is that saved?
With the summary knowledge, we apply caution. Because we know one of them is najis, so you cannot drink all. But one, that is summary knowledge.
Oh, because it's not broken.
No, because it's not broken. The problem is somewhere here, but which part I don't know. So
As a
here,
whole, it is
here,
what it is.
here they tell me you have to be careful because you know there is danger. There is danger. It's not that you don't have a clearance. Okay? So this is summary knowledge. I have to use caution. But with the initial doubt, I use exemption. Because it's a doubt. It's not certainty. Are you with me? So I use...
But the initial doubt, isn't it from doubt from within?
Yeah, but we will read tonight how do we treat the doubt. We will read it in this subject, istishab. Okay, so...
Can I just
Yeah,
so I
please.
can understand, can I repeat it and then maybe...
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you said so you walk in, let's say there's 10 bottles, like you said.
Mhm.
No one has told you anything. That's your initial doubt. You walk in and the principle of bara'at then prevails, right?
No.
No one has said anything.
Oh, no one
Initial
has
doubt.
said anything.
Yeah.
Initial doubt.
You have
This is
10
initial
bottles,
doubt.
You assume
Yeah,
you're all
yeah,
tolerant and
yeah,
drink.
yeah.
Okay. So then you come into a room and now someone out of the 10 bottles says, oh, this is not just, don't drink this one. So now that's detailed, but the rest of it is still initial because no one's told me any more information. Is that
Yeah,
the reason why
yeah,
it's initial?
it is a broken into initial. It is a broken. He broke it. He broke the summary knowledge when it was confined within this circle. Now he singles out this bottle out of that circle. So he broke it into detailed, which I know. The problem with this guy, this bottle. The rest I treat it as initial. And with the initial, what is the solution for the initial? Ash-shakkul badwi. It's the principle of exemption. I use the secondary, not the primary. Okay? So you are doing well. Alhamdulillah. Let's move into the new subject, which is istishab. My friends, istishab is when you continue the past state. You continue with the past state. It's the presumption of the continuity of the past state. What is the past state? The past state, we come to, I left this bottle on my desk tonight. I came tomorrow. should I drink this or not? Anything could happen. Maybe somebody came, dropped something, he took a sip, and maybe not. Sharia tells me, go ahead, because you don't have knowledge. Your knowledge was that was safe yesterday. You left it, when you left your room, your desk, your school, your office, your whatever, it was safe. Today you assume the same. You don't change your mind. Unless something with certainty comes up, tells you, no, listen. When you left, there was a dog. The dog was thirsty, came into the room, and they gave him a sip. Unless someone with certainty says this. Otherwise, you continue the past state. And Sharia is stipulating this principle to make our life easy. To make our life easy. Otherwise, if we don't have this, life would be very, very difficult. So this is the meaning of استصحاب. استصحاب هو حكم الشارع على المكلف بالالتزام عمليا to continue adhere to the past or former state بكل شيء كان على يقين منه, because you had certainty in the past that this is a clean. Certainty, يقين. Okay? Now you are doubting whether this purity is continuing or not. You say yes, it is continuing. This is the meaning of استصحاب. Okay? This is one example. They give the example of the water. Now, you have a pool of water, small. In the past, they used to contain the water in a small, what they call it? Containers. Okay, because they did not have these pipes in the past. Now, you come to a pool of water and it is touched by something mutanajjis, not najis. What is the difference of najis and mutanajjis, my friends? Something is najis, okay, which is impure. Mutanajjis, what is the difference? What should I write here?
Does one cause the najis? Cause it to happen?
No, this one causes. That one
Has been
Caused.
caused by this. Mutanajjis is caused by najis. It became impure. It's not originally impure. It touched the impurity. Touched impurity. This is the difference.
Oh, so munajjis would have been
Mutanajjis. This is munajjis. This is mutanajjis. Najis is the original item. Let's say urine. This is urine. But this one is the underwear that touches the urine. That's the difference. Okay? Now, an underwear was touched that water. What do we say in this case? In this case, we say, is this water still clean or became not clean, impure, because it touched this, not that one, this one.
Depends how big it is. If the water is a lot, doesn't it?
Sharia says that water would not be najis. If it had touched this one, it becomes najis. But not the mutanajjis, not the material that has touched, because this is secondary, this is a primary, this is secondary. This is the cause, this is the effect. This is the original najis. So they differentiate between the original najasa, which if it falls somewhere it will contaminate, and between something that has touched the najasa. So the najasa does not transfer into something else. Are you with me? Okay? So in this case, we apply istishab. We say, I knew that the water definitely was pure, for certain, for sure. Now I have doubt whether this pant or this dress or this piece of cloth, when it touched it, did it contaminate the water or not? I have doubt, shak. Here I don't care about the shak, the doubt. I continue with my certainty. I continue, the presumption of continuity. I use this principle, istishab. I carry on because this doubt was not powerful enough to destroy my or overcome my certainty. Because this is a hadith of Imam al-Sadiq. Imam al-Sadiq says, this is the dalil. Where is the dalil? We have to have the dalil. The dalil, Imam al-Sadiq said to one of his close confidant and companions and disciples, students, by the name of Zurara ibn A'yun. Wow, this is an iconic figure. Zurara ibn A'yun is an iconic figure. Imam al-Sadiq, Zurara. This guy is one of the best students of the Imam, Zurara ibn A'yun. He asked him, he said, I had wudu. I made wudu to go and pray. While I was waiting for the prayers, as you see it sometimes in Masjid al-Haram, in Masjid al-Nabawi, people are waiting, they go 1 hour before. Then I have doubt whether I took a nap or not. I have doubt whether the sleep was powerful enough to overcome my senses, especially my hearing. Because if it is not powerful enough to overcome your hearing, you still hear. Have you seen yourself? You are tired, you take a nap, but you hear the television, you hear the radio, you hear the kids playing, the music from there, you hear. This is not a reason or a cause to destroy your wudu, to invalidate your wudu. This is not a full sleep, okay? I have this in the airplane. I close my eyes, okay? I try to sleep, but it's not a full sleep. Because when the flight attendants, they move, people are talking, someone is laughing, I can hear them. It's not a full sleep, okay? It's half a sleep. That does not invalidate your wudu or your ghusl. So the Imam said to him, if you have doubt that this sleep overcame you and invalidated your wudu, don't care about this shak, this doubt. لا تنقض اليقين بالشك. Do not break certainty by doubt. ولكن break certainty with another certainty. ولكن انقضه بيقين آخر. That's the golden principle we use. We do not invalidate certainty with doubt. Certainty is only invalidated and removed with another certainty. Okay? I'll give you an example, another example. You know that before you left the house, you made wudu. You know. You remember that very well. You remember when you washed your face, your arms, you even dried yourself with a towel. You remember the process. But then you don't know whether you have maintained this wudu when you went to the office and then you came to the mosque or not. You have doubt. You have doubt. This doubt, you don't care about it. This doubt cannot hurt your certainty. Continue telling yourself, I have wudu. Don't destroy the certainty with a doubt. Unless you know for sure with another level of certainty that this wudu has been invalidated. You use the bathroom, for instance, after that. Okay? We use this in the application of it has thousands of examples in our life. Okay? So in this case, we use the principle of istishab. Okay? So we treat that water as being what? As being tahir. Okay. Now this istishab, my friends, has two faults. Two faults. Let me remove this and bring these two faults here of the istishab. Two faults. Two parts. In order for us to apply this principle, we need two parts. Part number one. This is part number one. Part number one is called that you have to have former or a previous state of certainty. You have to have a previous state of. If your previous state or former state was not certain, then you can't say. Let me give you the example again of wudu. Sometimes you don't know whether you did wudu or not. Do you follow me? I'm being very precise. You don't know whether when you left the house, before you left the house, did I do wudu or not? In the first case, first example, you know for sure you did wudu, but you don't know whether the wudu later on was invalidated or not. So you continue with this. You say, my wudu is safe. But in this example, there was no former state of certainty. You don't know. You can't remember. Did I do wudu or not? Oh my God. Did I forget? Did I do? Did I forget? Did I do? You have doubt. So it was not certainty. So here you cannot say, yes, I had wudu. No. In one case you can say yes, I would tell you later in Darsul Fiqh tonight, when we study fiqh. When you become obsessed, when someone becomes anxious, confused, he keeps doubting about everything. In this case, you always be positive and you say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay? In that case, we will study it in fiqh, in chapter on salat, inshallah. But in this case, if you are normal, you don't doubt. Some people, they live in doubt. Their entire life, they live in doubt. This is a sickness. Sharia says, don't care about doubt. Say, I'm right. Say, I'm right. Because if you continue doing this, you end up in the hospital. Okay? Here we're speaking about normal cases. Normal cases, you have to have former state, previous state of certainty. That you know you did the wudu. You know. I was sure. Yes, I'm sure 100%. I even remember when I used, let's say, napkins to dry my face, my arm, or the towel or something else. That is a state of what? Yaqeen, certainty. So it has to have this. In order for you to use this istishab, my friends, to use this principle, to apply it, you have to have a former state of certainty.
So Sayyid,
Yes.
where I'm a little confused, so if you have doubt, you gave the example of wudu leaving the house and you don't have doubt, you have doubt whether you did it or not. So why doesn't the secondary principle apply there?
No. Secondary principle is not, it's about halal and haram. Haram or halal, or wajib or not wajib. Not about actions.
Okay.
It does not apply here. Actually, the primary applies in this case. The primary applies in this case because you did not, the primary, for instance, is this, God wants me. The secondary applies when you come across a situation, God wants me to do this or not. I use the secondary. No. I would not do it until I know for sure that God wants me to do it. Otherwise, I don't waste my time. Okay? But in the case of wudu, no. In the case of wudu, you have to be certain that you did it, then later on, you get confused. But if you are not certain in the beginning, you have to do the wudu all over again. Okay? Now, this case, now we have istishab hukmi and istishab mawdu'i. Let me write them in Arabic. Istishab hukmi and istishab mawdu'i. This is related, istishab, that is related to the ruling, and this is istishab that is related to the subject. What's the difference between the ruling and the subject? The ruling is the example that we gave earlier. Okay? That the water was, I'll give you another example. Khums. Khums. One of the ways of zakat. One of the aspects of zakat and taxation in Islam. The khums, used to be at the time of the Prophet. It's in Surah Al-Anfal, chapter 8. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَأَنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمُسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى. So people would pay khums. During the times of the Imam, they pay the khums. Now, we come, the Imam is not here. I don't see him. The Imam is a period of occultation. I have no access to him. I ask myself, is still khums wajib, obligatory or not? In this case, which principle I use? Yeah, I say because it was wajib during the time of the Prophet and the Imams, and I have no evidence that it was abrogated or cancelled or changed or altered, then I use the principle of istishab. The ruling. I continue with the ruling. The ruling was wajib and now it is also what? Wajib too. Okay? So this is istishab hukmi. I come to the second one. This is different from there. This is different. This is, Sharia says, if someone is fasiq, he's immoral, he commits sin, okay? He does not pray, does not fast, he drinks, he gambles, he steals. He tells you something. What is your initial reaction to him? Do you believe him or you disbelieve him? He comes and he says, listen, I saw someone hitting someone else. He's non-trustworthy, fasiq. The Quran says, no, be careful. Don't believe him unless you what? You have certainty. You double check. Islam is not saying do not believe him at all. No. You have to double check. If someone else comes and that guy is good, then you realize that this unworthy is telling you the truth. But if he's alone comes and he has no support, no evidence, then you don't believe in him. Now, I know Zayd, Fulan, let's say Fulan, his name is Fulan, okay? Last year, he was not trustworthy. I left Southern California. I came back 1 year later. I look at the same person and he brings the same piece of news. And I don't know what happened during this year. I have no news of him, nothing, no update. He didn't text me, he did not WhatsApp me, people did not say anything about him. How should I treat this case? Istishab, the subject being the person. See, in this case, that was ruling, wajib or non-wajib, called ruling. This one is the person himself. So when he comes again and bringing me news, I would say, listen, I have no previous, I know this guy was non-trustworthy last year and nothing happened this year. Nobody came and he said, hey, Sayyid, this guy went to Hajj and he repented. I have no news. So I still treat him with the previous state. Okay? This is istishab, the subject. I continue with the same subject. Or another subject. I went to a place, a restaurant, okay? There was a bottle, or let's say not restaurant because they removed the bottle. Let's say a room, a hotel, and there was a bottle there, and they told me this bottle is haram. Let's say wine, alcohol, vodka, whatever, I don't know. 1 year later I came, the bottle itself in the same position, same color, same size, same bottle. Or I go to the hotel, I open the fridge, you know, they sell, you know, and there are small bottles. And someone tell me this is wine. I go, come back in the evening, I find the same bottle. Do I say myself, no, that was another bottle, this is a second one, a new one. Maybe this is, you know, Pepsi, maybe this is Dr. Pepper, you know, maybe has changed. How should I treat this? Istishab. I continue because the same bottle in the same place, and nobody came and said, no, listen, we changed this, we removed that, we put this. If someone tells me this, yes, I follow. But when I have no knowledge and I was certain that this bottle was alcohol, and now I see the same bottle, I should say yes. The subject is the same. Unless I have what? Knowledge. Knowledge. Yaqeen, ilm, that the subject has changed. Another example, typical example they gave about the imam of the masjid. I went to a masjid, let's say in Colorado. They said the imam is adil. You can pray behind him. I asked 2 or 3 people, they say no. Good man. I went 2 years later. The same imam. Should I ask again? Is he adil? Should I pray behind him or not? Same imam. No, unless there is a knowledge. They say, wow, you don't know what happened from last year until now. He voted for Trump and he did this and he did that. So, yeah. So, I continue with the same subject. This is the difference between this and that. Okay? So, we have to be certain of the former state. If the certainty is compromised, then we cannot continue with the istisab. If the certainty is compromised. Compromised with what? With doubt? No, the doubt does not compromise it. With another piece of certain knowledge, ilm, it would compromise it. Okay? So this is regarding this. Now, some theologians and jurists, they say istishab applies only to this, not to this. But the author, Shahid al-Sadr, he says no, it applies to both of them, not just this one, but that one. Because the ruling of the imam is general. It's not restricted. If you want to restrict it for just this one, you have to bring dalil. If you don't have evidence and dalil proof, then it's absolute. If you want to narrow it only to this, to the subject, you have to prove. Since you don't have dalil, then it is absolute, so it encompasses this one plus that one, 2. Now, what is the second? So this is number 1. I said istishab has 2 sections. I mentioned number 1. What is number 2? Number 2 is that you have to be certain about the previous state. In the second one, you have to be الشك في البقاء. You have to have doubt in the continuity. Doubt in the continuity. But if you don't have doubt, if you have certainty in the continuity, or you have certainty, no more doubt, you have certainty that this liquid has changed, or this person, the imam, the example of the imam has changed. He's not the same imam, not the same character. He has changed. He committed theft. They took him to jail. Or they saw him drinking alcohol. God forbids. Or he's murdering. Murdering is easier than alcohol. For ulama, murdering probably is easier. I don't know. So, in this case, there is no doubt. This is certainty, no doubt. So, الشك في البقاء. Okay? Now, here we have shak in the rafi' and shak in the muqtadi, and there is a difference between them. Let me explain that. And we الشك في الرافع, in the remover. You have doubt in the remover. Doubt about the remover. الشك في المقتضي في المقتضي, it's doubt about, I will tell you, I will explain them soon, about the requisite the requisite. They call it, or the demanded, the requisite. I'll explain it soon. Requisite. Okay? What is the difference between them? The difference is that, I'll give you the example. About the remover, let's speak about the remover, rafi', remover. We come to the water that has been touched by mutanajjis, not najis, mutanajjis, a material, an object that has touched the najis, the impure. And this material has touched this water. How do we treat this water? Tahir. Because the water does not change, even if you leave it for a long period of time, does not become najis automatically. Okay? So in this case, we assume that the water is, according to this principle, the water is najis. I'll give you another example, an opposite example. You came to a dress, a towel, that it was najis. You saw the najasa, you were certain, and you left it in your room. You came 1 month later. The same towel is in the same place. What do you assume? Do you assume that this piece of a cloth or towel or a dress became tahir? No. You don't. You have to use the same. So you treat it as najis. Unless someone calls you, he says, hey, you know, when you left, I cleaned this, I washed this. That is different. But if not, then we assume it is still what? Or you were wearing pants and there were urine on it, let's say. And then you kept it in the, whatever, in your room. Then you come back to it, you don't say, well, that was yesterday, today is Monday, you know, this month is October, that was September. No, it would be, so this is, we have doubt, is the najasa removed or not? Okay? In the case of the water, we have doubt, is the purity removed? We say no, it's not removed. In the case of najasa, the dress, we have doubt that the najasa has been removed. We say no, because we use this principle, istishab. Now, الشك في المقتضي. Muqtadi, they say, شك في المقتضي is when you are fasting in Ramadan and then you come back home tired. Maghrib is, let's say, 9 p.m., 8 p.m. You come back at 5 or 6, tired. You go into your room. You drop dead. You want to have some nap, some sleep. You are thirsty, hungry, tired. You shut the curtains, the shutters, the windows. The room becomes dark. It's 4 p.m., 5 p.m. And then you sleep. You enjoy your sleep. Then you open your eyes. The room is dark. The room is dark. I don't know what's happening outside. I did not even open. And there is water there and you are thirsty. Would you immediately drink? Assuming that sunset has come?
No.
Because you say, well, I'm using, which one do you use here?
I need to have certainty.
Exactly, certainty. You can't just assume that, well, I slept and now I'm wake up without even look at my clock, look at my watch, look at the sun, look at the dark. You can't. Because when you slept, you were fasting and it was day. You have to prove that the night came. So you continue with what? Istishab. Okay? Now, you cannot say, but the day ends. The day does not, stay forever. Someone, he wants to use his science, his brain. He says, but say it, the day is only 12 hours. And the day does not last forever. We tell him, yes, you are right. But still, you have to have the knowledge that it ended. Maybe it has not ended yet. I know the day is temporary. It's not forever. But you have to make sure that it ended before you break your fast. Okay? So this is the second type. Now, let me conclude with something. In order for us to apply the istishab, to enjoy the istishab and use it, the subject, we call it the unity of the subject. Unity, wahdatul, unity of the subject. What do we mean by unity of the subject, my friends? Istishab has two parts. Say after me. We just mentioned them. Two parts, two sections. One part is certainty. The other part is doubt. Okay? In order for us to apply this formula, we have to have two parts. One of them is certainty, the second is doubt. Now, let's say but the subject has to remain the same. For instance, I come to the dress. The dress was tahir. I left it clean. I come back next day, next week, next month. How do I treat the dress? As what? As a clean. But the chair next to it was not clean. How do I treat it? Huh? As not clean, because these are two different subjects, not the same subject. Someone would not come and say, listen, I left the dress tahir, now I came, the dress is tahir and the chair has to be tahir too. No, we tell them, listen, we are speaking about one subject. Now, how do we apply this in fiqh? We apply it when sometimes things change. The water was najis. We know that there was some water here. The water was contaminated with the blood, with urine. Okay? Then the water evaporated into steam. Is it the same subject now? It's not the same subject. So it's not the unity of subject. In this case, the water was najis. But when do we come to the steam? Is the steam najis too?
We don't know.
What do you think?
We don't know.
Hmm?
We don't know.
All the scholars, they say no. Because the steam is not the same subject. It's another subject. So you don't treat it as najis. You don't continue with the previous state. Because the previous state applied to something called water. Now it's a steam. However, my opinion, I take here, I stop here. Why? I argue that the water and the steam, they are physically different, but chemically, are they different? Because they are both of them, if you examine them, they are H2O, both of them. Physically, they are different. The water is not same like the steam, yes. But chemically, they are exactly the same. Same components. Same components. However, the scholars, when I speak to them, they say Sharia says, if they differ physically, that is enough. You don't have to change the chemical components. You don't have. The urf, we go back to urf. Urf says water is not steam. Steam is not water.
So it could be like the gelatin kind of case?
It applies to this. Applies, but not in your favor, huh? Goes against you. You know why? Because the gelatin was bones belonging to an animal that was un-Islamically slaughtered. And we discussed this, at length with the scholars. When I go to Najaf and Qum, I sit with them for hours to discuss this. Some of them, they don't understand what you are talking about. Some of them do understand. We discussed this. This is why they differ. Our scholars, when it comes to the gelatin, they differ. They have different opinions. Some, they say it's istihala. Istihala, the change of the subject. Change of the subject. Like if the wine is turned into vinegar, it becomes halal and tahir, pak. Even the bottle becomes halal. You don't have to wash it. Automatically it becomes. Because the subject is different. This was wine, now it's not wine anymore. It's vinegar. It becomes halal. This is why if you go and purchase vinegar, what do you see on the bottle? Huh?
Red wine vinegar?
Exactly. Red wine vinegar. Some people say, Sayyid, this is red wine. I tell them, okay, yeah, of course, red wine. It used to be red wine. Now it's vinegar. Okay? So it becomes halal. But the components, chemical components, are they the same or they change?
Completely different.
Components.
For red
Chemical, not physical. Chemical. Sometimes they are the same. Not exactly the same, but some of the components of the wine are found in the vinegar. But the Sharia says, listen, we speak about the unwan, the title. We don't go and examine them under the microscope, the components. Okay? The same thing with the gelatin. Gelatin, they draw it from where? The bones of a cow. If the cow is slaughtered Islamically, we have no problem. But if the cow is slaughtered un-Islamically, they turn the bones into gelatin. Some of these chemical components are exactly the same. But Sharia says, listen, we are not concerned about the chemical process. We are concerned about the physical process. And there is a difference between physical and chemical.
Even if it's from a pig, same thing.
Some say yes. And some say no. Some say no. Even if it is from not pig definitely, but even if it is from a cow or a sheep, or cow, usually they take it from, you cannot use it because the chemicals are the same. So this is a subject of debate. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.